Welcome to podcast 146. Are you taking your owner with you along the way? Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome, everybody. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you took the opportunity yesterday to listen to Chapter 3 of Calumet K. If you're a builder, if you want to dig in with better procurement techniques, drive with a sense of urgency, and really just hit the ground running as an instinctive, I think you say an instinctive builder, then Calumet K is the book for you. You're going to love that book. Please stay with me as we're going through those chapters and you're listening to the story and also the reflection at the end. It's fantastic. So that's episode 145. And what I want to talk to you about today is telling the owner. And this is a huge, huge topic. I hope you didn't dismiss it by the title. I hope I advertised that well enough, but we're going to cover that today. It won't be too long of a podcast. But before I head in that direction, I'm going to do a podcast sometime this week about being inside of our red zone. I have talked to probably about 5 or 6 different people that are asking, should I go, take this role? Should I go make this decision? Should I seek for this promotion? Should I go into this career? Should I do this or that? And it just happens over and over and over. And I love it. I love it. People that want to ask me that question, I hope you keep asking me that question because I love that question. And I answer it typically in the same way, which is that you need to know your red zone. And I've covered this a million times, but it's so important. Please let me do it again. Your red zone is what can you get paid to do? What are you good at? And what do you love doing? The intersection of those, or closest to the intersection of those, is your red zone. And it's the thing that you can do over and over and over and be super successful. So if you're asking yourself, do I want to do this or that or make this decision? I would either pray about it and make sure that you have a clear answer from God, or do both, or do a personality assessment. I have one that's called This Is Me Extended Version, or it's called the Extended Personality Profile. It has a number of tests that you do in there and probably about 12 questions that you have to answer. Once that's all combined, we can find out, what are you good at? What do you enjoy? And then the only other question is, the third question is, what can you get paid doing? And then you have this red zone, this format. And Jim Collins said, it's about disciplined thought, disciplined behavior. He wasn't talking about having discipline throughout the day to, have to, in a disciplined way, decide on each and every one of the hundreds or thousands of decisions that you have to make throughout the day. That's not the kind of discipline he's talking about. He's not talking about leave everything to happenstance outside of a routine and be disciplined about it. He's saying be disciplined about the decisions that you make as a part of a routine, but have it be disciplined as it ties back to your red zone. Meaning, if somebody asks me in the day, hey, will you do this, or will you take on that project, or will you go here, or will you do this? I don't have to think about those things because I've already formed a discipline according to my red zone that allows me to easily answer those questions. You shouldn't allow yourself to be in situations where you have to think on the spot. You should decide ahead of time. It's just like when we educate our kids and we say, hey, the time to decide to not smoke or not do drugs or not to have, addictions or whatever isn't in the moment. It's right now. Make sure that you decide where you want to be, who you want to be, where you want to go now. And then when you're faced with those things, you already have the answer with you, right? Same thing at work. When you're asking yourself, do I want to take this job or go into this promotion or move here? Well, does it align to your red zone? And if you don't know what your red zone is, let's figure it out. And again, for free, I'll send you that template and you can better figure it out. And if you really want to make some massive progress, then let's get on a coaching call together and spend the money. I need to charge money because I don't have other income coming in. So I'm carving out time to be with folks like you. So it's not like some profit scheme. It's I have to switch my focus, support my family, but I can guide my energy and my focus towards you through coaching If you need help, let's do that. But even if you don't get my help, please make sure that you make decisions according to your red zone. And so that's my little intro. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'm really excited about that. And I'm excited for you to know that and to be able to make decisions according to that red zone. Now, let me answer the question. What am I excited about in life right now? I'm like stinking excited about figuring out what I don't need to do and streamlining my life. So I've got my son working with me as the producer. He and I use Monday.com and I'm not a sponsor for Monday.com. I'm just saying we use Monday.com and a number of other techniques. We have Google Docs where we share information where I line him out. I've got Upwork contractors that work for me that do the administrative items, a lot of those. Somebody that does my video editing, somebody that does my marketing or the company's marketing, the graphics. There are people that do all of these things and they're fulfilled in life because they're in their red zone and they're doing those things. And through quick and effective communication systems, I can ask myself every day, where do I belong? I belong, even though you might not agree with me, but I belong behind the microphone, behind the camera, creating content, visiting with people, and distilling down information so they can have a remarkable life. I belong teaching, coaching, consulting. I don't belong doing these other things. So every day where I say, here are the 100 things that I'm doing today, can I get rid of 5? Can I get rid of 10 and put those on standard work in standard stable systems? Then I'm excited about it. That's fantastic. I love that. And so I thought that little neat, what am I excited about in life, tied pretty nicely to my opening, my little welcome there. So I wanted to share that with you. And maybe you can be just as excited about it right now. Do this. I'm telling you, like, do it right now. Pause the podcast or afterwards. Don't forget. Here's what I want you to do. Sit down, make a list of the top 20 things you're doing right now. You're super busy. You haven't spent time with your kids. You haven't gone on that trip. You haven't been exercising. You haven't been going out on date night. Take that list of 20 things that you've been working on lately and find 5 that you can delegate. Find 5 that you can outsource. And if you're a business owner, and I work with a lot of you business owners out there, if you haven't considered Upwork.com or Fiverr, or getting a personal assistant or somebody who has a passion for those things to outsource that work. And I don't mean outsource to like, child labor or stuff to a third world country where it's unethical. I'm talking about outsourcing to people with skills who get paid well and are rewarded for what they're doing, but it's economical for you to have them do that because you're doing $85 an hour tasks and these other people are passionate about doing $12 an hour tasks. Consider outsourcing. It is fantastic. So go find out of your top 20 things, what are the 5 that you can put into stable systems, standard systems, delegate, or outsource. Fantastic. And if you're mad at me, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you, but you really don't belong doing anything that you could pay somebody else to do. And while you're making 3 times as much money doing what you are supposed to be doing and only you. So let me move along in this podcast. I'm already taking up too much time. Rena's going to kill me. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about a quick little bit of feedback. I've been getting a lot of feedback lately. Our numbers are off the charts right now for downloads. So any of you who download and listen to this podcast, I love you. You're amazing. You're making my life amazing. Please keep sharing this. You are remarkable. I don't know what else to tell you, but thank you. Everything that we do, what I do is about you, and it just tickles me to death. I just love the fact that we're able to connect with so many people. So here's some feedback that I got. One of my close family members sent me your podcast because she thought I would take interest in it, and I started listening yesterday, and they are great. Thank you for doing this. I am aspiring to be in construction, and these podcasts are helping me, and I would love it if you could help me along my journey. And so this little bit of feedback for me is a payday, because when people connect, when we're able to find people that are able to help each other and connect, even from a providential, inspired standpoint, meaning the universe or God or nature brought us together. Like, I just love opportunities like that where we can network and head in a good direction. So you know who you are that sent this to me. I appreciate you. I appreciate the feedback. It's because of you that we do these things. So here's some conflict for you. You are not telling the owner soon enough and often enough about problems. Now, if some of you are out there judging me, being like, oh my gosh, here goes Jason again. He doesn't know the circumstances. I need to control the information, and I don't agree with that, and blah, 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 blah. Dude, like, you're killing me. I get it. I know all of the reasons why we would be too afraid to tell the owner things as we go. But here are the facts. If you really want to sell that next job, if you want to be the best in class team, then you'll be transparent with your owner. When the construction industry or certain owners, certain companies, and I've heard of many of these, do surveys with owners, with developers, and they ask what's most important, the price or the end date or whatever, they always say how we got there. How we got there. And the contractors, I'm gonna ruffle some feathers here. The contractors out there that keep things from their owner try, and I say try because that's all you're doing, try to absorb costs, try to absorb impacts, try to absorb scheduling delays. Don't tell the owner about problems. Don't tell the owner about procurement issues. Don't tell the owner about troublesome contractors. Are just going to surprise the owner and piss him off at the end. Because everyone's like, oh, we'll just absorb it. We'll just absorb it. We'll just absorb it. Well, and then at the end, we're like, oh, by the way, we're out of contingency money, or I've spent all your contingency money, or hey, here's a $500,000 change order. And then the owner's like, what? What? Like, why? What? Hold on a minute. You're a month away from the end of the job. Why are you telling me this now? Oh, well, because we didn't tell you. Well, that's not a good practice, because you're likely going to end up surprising the owner with this stuff, whether it's the end date or the cost or quality or whatever it is. And no owner wants to be surprised with this stuff. No owner wants to be lied to about these things. They need to know. And you can find appropriate situations to tell them what's going on as we go. So here's a story for you. And this has happened over and over and over and over and over. I can't think of a single situation where this didn't work out. And I really believe in open book jobs. I work with companies, they're like, I'm open book. I'll show you everything we got for cost. I'll show you profit. I'll show you fee. I'll show you everything. Just open book, everything that we have, all subject to auditors, ready to see, there's, some of the non-reimbursable stuff, I get that some of those things might not need to be shown, but for everything that's appropriate and transparent and open and legal, an open book policy has always been my best practice. I just absolutely love that kind of transparency. And to tell the owner in our OAC meetings, our owner, architect, and contractor meetings on a weekly basis, what are the biggest problems that we're dealing with and what impacts are we absorbing? And this is what I tell people, and I tell schedulers and I tell supers. You are not authorized to falsify the schedule. You are not legally authorized to not put that impact in there. You are not legally authorized to not put an activity in there showing that RFI or that submittal impact or that procurement impact or that design team impact or whatever. You're not authorized to not put that in there. You legally have to as-built that schedule and keep it accurate 100% of the time. So it's a builder schedule and it's a legal schedule, right? And you're not authorized to not put that in there. Now, if the project director or project executive says, okay, well, it's shown in there, and here's how we're going to recover it. I've put this schedule through Acumen 360, or we've done an analysis, or we've done some resequencing, or we've done a pull plan, or we've phase planned this with our trade partners, and here's our recovery schedule, but it's still shown in there. That's fine. But we can't just pretend it doesn't exist and not put it in there. So I always say, nobody is legally authorized to not show this accurately in the schedule. Now, whether or not we ask for extended GCs or more money or a time extension is up to the company, the project director, the project executive. I get that, but we have to be honest and accurate. We have to, if we're going to absorb something, then we say, here's what it did to us. Here's our recovery plan. And Mr. and Mrs. Owner, here's how we're absorbing it. And you get them to agree to that so it's not a surprise. Here's a story. And this has to do with reporting on a major health crisis. It had to do with COVID-19, but I'm not going to get too much into it. And again, you don't know what owner I'm talking about. You don't know what job. Don't even try and guess. But this owner appreciated that within minutes of us knowing about a positive case of COVID-19 on a project, that they were notified immediately that we were handling it. that we were in communication with the county health department, that we had people on the case, that we were doing contact tracing, and that we were shutting down the job and cleaning the area and doing everything we were supposed to be doing. We didn't just do it and call them later. We told them within minutes. And guess what their response was? Thank you guys so much for telling us these things. Thank you guys so much for being proactive. I have other contractors that won't tell us. 3 days ago, they had a positive case. They didn't tell us. And then some of our folks went to that project site and were potentially exposed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's so sad that there are contractors out there that aren't knowing enough to tell their owner what's going on and to be proactive about it. And they were just gushing with praise and said, we were the best contractor they've ever worked with because we always told them what was going on and they always felt in control and they trusted us. And that has happened before with contractors that were fit, not with that example, but on other jobs, different owners, a contractor is having a difficult time, or there's a mistake here, or there's an impact, or there's a change order, or an ambulance or a fire truck just went past the site. Or whatever. Anything happens, we tell the owner, and they always say, man, you're the best team we've ever worked with. And so the principle is this. If you have late procurement, or if you have a problem, or if you have a design change, or the designer slips in some specifications later on in the project that weren't there before, or there's a faulty, I'm just going to make something up from Tommy Boy, transverse rotary girder that we have to replace, and it's this big issue that could impact the project, or some overseas shipment has been delayed, or there's a positive case that somebody had with a family relative of an employee that's on the project, or whatever the situation is, tell the owner. Like, why do you not want them to know there's a procurement problem? Why do you not want them to know that you put this trade partner on notice? Why do you not want them to know that there's this incident that happened that you're recovering and that you're figuring out? The answer is you do. You do. Here's how you want to approach it. You want to tell them immediately, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Owner, this is what we're dealing with. We already have a plan. Our people are trained for this. This is what we plan. We plan to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. I'm calling you now to see if you have any input to let you know. I will return a report in an hour or 2 hours or a day or whatever when we have more information. We are handling this, but I want you to know exactly what's going on. You can do that with anything. And if you have a schedule impact, you can say, hey, the designer shot this over. This puts us 6 weeks behind schedule, and we're working to get back in the box. We're working to get it back to where it fits in schedule. I can let you know in a day and a half once we do, A, B, C, D, and E, and F, and we research this. But right now, this is what we're looking at. And so you're going to be the first person to know what's going on. That's better than saying, oh, Mr. or Mrs. Owner, there's no problem. There could be a 6-week delay, and then you surprise them with it later. Why not say, hey, this initially looks like this, and we are working aggressively to figure it out right now. We will keep you up to date. That's the principle. That's what we have to do. There's no such thing as your problem. If you're a superintendent, you can't shoulder problems yourself. If you're a PM, you can't shoulder problems yourself. If you're a company, you can't shoulder problems yourself. If there's no such thing as an individual's problem, there are only team problems. Why would I want to take that home? I'm about right now, when I'm done with this podcast, I'm going to take my wife on date night. If there was a major problem on the project, and there always are, every project, no matter how good they are, every project has problems. Why would I want to take that, not tell anybody, try and figure it out myself, stress about it, and go right now on date night with my wife and be freaking out about it? I would rather, hey, I told the owner, my company knows, the executives know, the whole team knows, we have it on the action log, we've put the trade partners on notice, maybe it's a good or bad, I don't know, but everyone knows we have a plan to meet tomorrow morning. We are on it. And now it's off my shoulders. I don't have to stress about it. We're going to work on it as a team. If you don't do that, you're going to be burdened down so much, you're going to ruin your life. So there's no such thing. This is the wisest stinking thing I've ever come up with. I love myself for coming up with this. There's no such thing as an individual problem. There are only problems that belong to the team. That's it. And there's no surprises. Don't surprise your owner. In your team meetings, in your effective team meetings, in your trade partner meetings, when something major comes up, if you're a PM or a super or a director or whoever, Your first question should be, hey, can we put that on our red flag log or our critical decision log or our OAC meeting minutes, or let's call the owner. Does the owner know about it? They need to know about it. They need to know here's what the is, and let's work back from there, and we'll figure it out together. We're a team. No surprises. Come to the table, call them with what you're doing to come up with a solution. Be proactive. Don't just shove it off into their court, but make sure there are no surprises. And if you do that, because the current condition is people keep it hidden and then we surprise our owners. But if you don't surprise them and you tell them and you take them along this journey with you, then not only will you not be stressed, but you will be looked on favorably. They will say, "Oop, they're working through a process. I love it. This is my team. This is my contractor." You won't surprise them. They will help you overcome these situations. They will be more kind and accepting when they know these situations, when something might actually come up later. It will be over the top fantastic. So here's the challenge. Make sure they know. Always ask if we're bringing those issues to the surface. Make sure you cover those in the OAC. Get your critical decision log or your action list or your red flag list or your biggest problems list or your roadblock list or whatever your list is where you work with the owner. Make sure that you go through that and that you show that you care. And if you do that, you will be their preferred team. And that's the best thing you can do to start marketing for the next proposal. Why wait till the next proposal, the next RFP, the next RFQ to come out to go, cram for 4 days and do this amazing proposal? Why not start the interview process now? And the way you do that is by being transparent and taking the owner with you. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.